Alright guys, welcome to the first of two videos that'll be part of the next giveaway. They're much more than that. They are serious things that I think you should listen to and consider, have in the back of your minds at the very least. I'm going to put out this video, hopefully the other one as well tonight. I'm starting to think the other one needs to come out tomorrow. I'm getting too tired. And I promised I'd run a space. So anyways, if you want some great education, if you want to hear what I think's really going on out there, I've been bang on the money. If you go back to this tweet, I'll go through it later. But a lot of this became bang on the money despite how outrageous it might seem to some. So, please be patient with me. Just hear the video out. And the giveaway will be explained at some random point in this video. And you'll need to watch this one and the next one, have a basic understanding of them if you want to win. So, first off, my intentions. Normally I don't write stuff down, guys, but I've actually written this down because there's so much to this whole thing, so many concepts that you have to be familiar with, so many projects, so many names, so many Twitter space links. So I'm just gonna kind of roll it out one by one here, and this is the first time I've had to write stuff down, so bear with me. But my intentions, so you know, people might think this is for engagement, people might think I like to cause drama, people can think whatever they want, but the truth of the matter is I've been offered tons of money my entire time in the career. I have made a ton. I have done paid promos, but I've never tried to hide it. I've used Doc's wallets the whole time. And for the better part of the last year, I mean, I've just been turning down everything. And I didn't know why. I didn't know why all these projects who approached me were shit until I realized a lot of these projects are pushed by the same people. And they've tried to approach me from so many different accounts over the last little while to get me to do paid calls for all their projects. And I've turned them down on all their different alts, all their different marketers, and then they realized, I guess, I couldn't be bought. And when I came to Twitter and I saw just how crazy it was, just how deep the rabbit hole went, I mean, I couldn't turn a blind eye to it, because I saw it all right away. As soon as I started looking into it, I saw how one thing led to another, and I created this, you know, hypothesis that I'm sharing with you here today. But it's not for money. I mean, it's bad for business. I don't know how you don't realize that. If I ever did want to work with these guys, and you see the amount of projects next video that I told you that they're part of and that they've set up, I mean, yeah, I could just join with them. They've offered it to me several times. I could just, you know, join their side and make a ton of money off of your backs and do exactly what they do. I could just take all these paid promos in my DMs every single day that I say no to if it's all about money. Instead, I've shut down my calls channel. Told people I won't be making paid calls again. Did a few spaces where I used all the money that we raised to do giveaways during the spaces and pick my favorite project of the night. So I'm not here for that incentive. It's always a great side benefit, but that's not what drives me. And if you think like going after big name projects, ones that have good communities, I feel bad for those people, I truly do, but this stuff needs to get out there before it gets to the next level. So, you know, my intentions are pure. I've always been honest. I've always been revered amongst my community for years. People know I'm not going to lie. People know I'm not going to mislead people. And that my intentions are pure for the most part. That's why I still have the following I do, despite all the people I've attacked. And they still do listen carefully, and they still do take me serious, and they still do respect me. So, you can think whatever you want. I'll let you come up on the space and try to prove to me otherwise. But I've already told people, because so many people are doubting my intentions like it's all some act. Despite the fact I've been banging on the money so many times, despite the fact it's terrible for business and, you know, creates a lot of drama and buzz around my name, I mean, that's not what I'm here for. So if you want to come up and try to debate me on that, that'd be great, but I've promised people I'll be deleting this account. The second people start to listen, the second the movement starts and I realize people don't need me anymore, and I have a huge name and I could use it to make a ton of money, I'll delete my account. I'll get the fuck out of here. And I've said that from the very start, because I know exactly how people will treat it, but I've been massive before, and it's terrible. It's terrible to have that many people rely on you, just blindly buy your calls, even though you put up tons of disclaimers, and you think it's kind of high risk. It's a terrible place to be in. It's not what I want, because I've been there before, done that, and it's definitely what these people want. And you always have to question people like that. You just have to question people that want a bigger and bigger pull, and what they do with it. So I think that kind of covers my intentions part. Like I said, you can come try to tell me why I'm wrong. I'm giving away money. I've given away like 14K just off of, you know, out of my own personal funds, just so people take these videos more seriously and they watch them. So you can try to prove otherwise if you want. And then just quickly about my credentials before we get into it. I mean, I was the only one in the space who called out Angel Dust. Everyone in the space partnered with them, Pink Sale, all these Telegram influencers. I was the only one who spoke up and said it looked like shit. I caught a lot of backlash for that. I ended up being right. Stood against everybody on that one. One of the biggest scams of the year. I was the only one who stood up to Pink Sale, the first one to stand up to Pink Sale. I explained how everything they did, explained the whole entire system, and months and months and months later, you see other people starting to talk up about Pink Sale now. I've done it to several KOLs, some of the biggest KOLs out there, and I don't target every single KOL. It's not like this is my job, this is what I love to do. It's just what's necessary at certain times to keep the space running smoothly. You can't have bad actors and people with influence. I've done it on Dino Soul, which was recently. It was a big pre-sale, raised $1.8 million. Everyone, called it. I showed people that I knew who the team was. I showed people that they've scammed several times. All these callers, all these people that talk shit about me, they all follow me. They all saw it, and they still took their money and promoted it anyway. So, I've called out that team on 4 scams in a row that they've done. I've been right every single time, and I've refused to work with them ever since day one. Before I even knew who they were, I knew. I've called out Rex as a scam. The project went from 14 million down to, 1 mil that same day. I called Kermit a scam. It went from 15 mil down to 1 mil within a week. I called, Pauly a scammer. I didn't even know who he was. He still has people convinced to this day that he's a good guy. I said runes were shit. I said pre-sales were shit. Long before they all started scamming people, long before all these people started buying them, I was calling this kind of stuff out. I did it on Slurf AI, a pre-sale recently. I did it on Speedy, and every single time, that bunny coin that was on base the other day, and every single time it's calculated. I know what I'm doing, and people doubt me, people give me shit, but those are the recent ones I've called out. I don't call out every single project or person like people might think. I actually try to empower the real devs, the real projects, the real influencers. I try to give them, their flowers and props. So, a little about me, a little about my intentions. And now let's get into the game plan of this video. So some people are going to say, well, this isn't proof of anything. This doesn't show that Ansem is a scammer or this KOL. And I'm not saying that it does. I'm just doing the same game plan I've worked out anytime I've dealt with scammers. And if you don't understand that someone who lies, someone who misleads, someone who manipulates people are scammers, if you don't understand how that ties in together, how shitty people who make fun of people for being poor or from other countries or homophobic stuff or racist stuff, like whatever you want to call, if you don't understand how all that ties into someone being a dirtbag and a piece of shit and someone who will scam you, I mean, I'm sorry, but it'll take you a little bit longer. But this video is more here to present it for the scammers as well. Let them know I'm onto them. Let them know just how much I know about their little operation. And that's how you get them to start panicking. That's how you get them to start moving different, trying new things where they leave breadcrumbs and clues because they're so sloppy at it. That's why Crash, you might think, oh, Crash doesn't waste time on Caesar. He just makes fun of him. I mean, check out this. So this is the other day. This is Krayok.base. So he's the guy that had the messages forwarded from Crash, where Crash admits, yes, I was the dev on Musk.eth, Zuck.eth, fuck Pepe, fuck Gary, Quant, and my worst ever capo. So he's just admitted to deving several plays here. If you heard him on the spaces in my video here, he promised a Tesla giveaway. He promised so many times that the pool of money, $100,000 worth, was going to be sent out to investors. He ran away, deleted his involvement in it, but he forgot to delete that one space, didn't he? And all these projects were just run the same way. There's pump and dumps on launch. They come in, they try to push it. Everyone gets hyped that Crash is there, and then he just leaves them holding their dicks in their hand. So, this guy's the one that forwarded me that message, as well as Crash asking for, a market making bot. He thought this guy could make him one. And then he says today, I just realized Crash deleted/blocked me. He's for sure watching your videos. So that's the guy who sent me that thing for all those people who want to doubt, oh, Crash isn't a dev, just because he was in the Telegram all the time, and just because he knew all the devs' moves and what they were going to do, and just because he ran all the spaces for them, it doesn't mean he was the dev. Well, that kind of shut those people up. So just like today, nothing I show you today is going to be an obvious point like, oh yes, this for sure. That means that guy he tagged above, that means he's a scammer. But I'm presenting the information to you that I believe is true, and this is the way I've always done it. And another thing it allows me to do is it allows me to see what you guys think is my weakest argument. So you say, well, no, like nothing you showed me makes me know that Ansem's a scammer. Then it's like, okay, I will go and strengthen that argument because I have all the data. I have everything to back it up. So I let the community tell me what holes they see in my argument, and then that way I can go strengthen those holes and, prove those specific points to people. So that's another reason for it. And then the last one is I can catch them lying this way. So when they see my video and people start questioning them about it, they'll start, giving their reasoning. They'll start giving their bullshit excuses. And when I catch them lying because I have all their spaces recorded and all their involvement in the projects, then that just strengthens the argument even more. So that's why I put this video out first, and the next one is to show you, what I think's going on, and see if you can connect the dots, see if you can keep this information in the back of your mind when you're following these people, and you might start to see exactly what I do. Okay, now we're going to get into the bare bones of it here. We're going to get into the whole game plan, what they do, how they do it, what their next plans are, and we'll wrap it up after that. Thank you for watching. I hope you continue here. So, it started off with Solana, in my opinion. I cannot comment on Ethereum. If it happened, it went over my head. Same with CrowChain. But anyways, how it went down on Solana is you have the Solana Foundation, all the people working there. They come up with this plan to pump the Solana price. They can use meme coins to do it. They can make a few big mooners on the chain, and it'll drive tons of volume over there, tons of people. But they want to make sure it's a guaranteed success. So they use venture capitalists. They use all these different resources. But another thing they do is they create a bunch of KOLs. So that's where Ansem comes from. That's where POW comes from. That's where a bunch of people on Twitter started to come from. Was they got them talking about Solana early on. $8, $10, $20. I think Solana is really going to have a movement, guys. And, that's how they create their frontmen. They make these frontmen look very credible because they give them some insider scoop, some insider knowledge, some coins that they're going to help push to do well so that they have credibility for those insiders and credibility themselves on their chain that they have very successful projects. So that's what the Solana Foundation wanted. It's just like Base Chain. So if you look at Base Chain, Crash, he was kind of a nobody before Brett. The guy from Toshi, Crypto Dan, he was a nobody before that. A bunch of YouTubers. So they pick these frontmen that don't have much of a histories, or they have a history of scamming. They're going to use them as their fall men, and they start paying them. They start outlining the plan for them, releasing inside information to them, making those guys look as credible as they can. So they have a strong colony of KOLs to be able to manipulate people any way they want. So once they have those KOLs made and credible, they start creating some projects here and there. They help them push them. We saw Raj and Toli interacting with quite a few projects early on, and the success that had until what happened. Just like always, they spread themselves too thin by promoting too many projects, trying to make too much money off of people. And what they do is they hold a few of the projects well. So they hold down their whiff bags like Chads. They hold down their bonk bags like Chads. Myro bags like Chads. And that way they have those credible projects so that people know Solana is a base chain. It's good for memes, but also all those KOLs like Ansem or whatever. Ansem can't be a scammer, guys. He was talking about whiff early, and he's held his bags, and he's a whale, and he could sell millions of dollars on us, and he doesn't. And now Ansem is forever solidified in stone as long as whiff looks good. And it's the same with Crash and Brett on base chain, and it goes on and on and on. So, now they have all these projects for credibility. Now they have these KOLs with credibility. And they advertise it like it's still decentralized, like the chain's still decentralized. And meanwhile, they're trying to make it as centralized as possible, because not only do they try to control the KOLs and the projects, it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper than that. But that's kind of what they did on Solana. They had a game plan. Let's try to pump our chain with a few successful coins. Made a bunch of frontmen. Got behind a few projects there. And then after that, it's just been complete chaos. And they're doing the same thing on base chain. They're trying to do the same thing on AVAX, on TON, and everything else. So once it showed that it worked, and it worked a lot better than they thought it would, that's when base chain wanted a piece, and all these chains started falling under the same plan here. So let's talk a bit about their frontmen now. So what do the frontmen do? Where do they come from? What's their game plan? How are they used? So typically you're looking at new accounts. Most of the frontmen they use, I tagged all the frontmen above. I'll touch on that in a little bit here, but it's usually new accounts created at the start of this year, or it's people from Andrew Tate's Hustler University, or it's people who have had Twitter accounts for 3 years, but for some reason all their history is deleted. Usually until the start of this year. They don't want you to see how degen these people are, how shit they are, how shitty all the projects they touched were, how many times they were wrong when they tried to talk about the price of Bitcoin and price of everything else. So that's why they're all deleted. A lot of these people are nobodies, like nobody knew them for the last several years. They just show up in the bull run, try to take advantage of the hype by being moon boys and making people think they're very knowledgeable. They show off their wallets, they show off their cars, they show off their watches, they show off their trades. They always like blur stuff out though, so you can't be 100% sure it's their wallets and stuff like that. They try to act godly, they try to act like they know how everything works. A lot of them are NFT people, and a lot of them have shady pasts. So that's the characteristics of a lot of these frontmen. Some of them are really good speakers, some of them are believable. You know, they have lots of different skill sets that they're looking for. And what the frontmen do is, you know, they push the big projects. And like I said, they keep them alive to fool people. And this is a trick people have done since the beginning of time in crypto. I mean, they have one or two big projects, and they launch a ton of others. We just saw it with Mitchie tonight. They have baby Mitchie launched by quote-unquote their top holder. Well, I bet you that top holder is part of the team, and it's all bullshit. And it's always a sign of desperation. So that's what they do. You know, they have a few big projects, so you can't question their credibility anymore, because people are so brain dead and stupid. They think, oh, this project's $1 billion. I mean, they have to be legit. It's like they've never seen a big level scam go down before. They don't know about Squid Game scamming live on that stream. They don't know about how Mt. Gox happened and how that was a big scam, and FTX and all these big level market cap projects. It doesn't mean anything. Stop focusing on the market cap as credibility for people. Look at their work ethic, look at their honesty, look at their character, their integrity, and try the best you can to get a sense for it. So, then yeah, that's what they do. They make a bunch of new coins, pump and dump that money. They fuck you on the launch, they fuck you on the community takeover. Just completely take all that money and use it to, you know, continue their operation, growing it. They like to support and grow each other. They're always telling you, oh, follow my friend here, follow all the speakers on stage. And that's all fine. It's fine if you have good intentions to help good people, but none of these people are good people. They're all just networking. They try to basically, they try to instill all these, what do I call it here, ideals in your head. They try to tell you what's normal, how the space works, so that you don't kind of question it. They try to make you think 90% retracements on charts are normal. They try to make you think, you know, pumping up to 20 million and then dumping the same day of launch. I mean, that can happen. A lot of good projects, they go through that same process. And, you know, now the dev is out and we're here to help it and we're here for the community. And that's what they sell in every single spaces, every voice chat. It's the same KOLs with the same organized plan, trying to, you know, use that spaces to show that they're there to support, they're there to help. But, oh, we're not on the team, guys. I mean, we know all the inside information. We know exactly what the team's going to do. We can speak for the team, but we're not on it, guys. We're just here helping the community. We're going to be grinding in the trenches with you, even though 2 days later you're going to see me in another spaces talking about how bullish that coin is and talking about how I'm going to be in the trenches with you on that coin. And they rotate project to project using the same old bullshit spiels. And it's sick. They also make you think controlling 90% of the supply is normal, and that's what's needed for success. And the only reason they do that, and they can sell that, is because they said that's what every good project guy's done. Like, that's how they all have done it. But I can name you tons and tons and tons of good projects that didn't have that massive retracement, that didn't have 90% of the supply controlled by, you know, douchebags with bad intentions. And that's the story they sell, and they use it by referencing all their other projects. Look at Pepe. Look at Whiff. Look at this. Well, it's like, yeah, those are your projects. Of course, they're, you know, you're going to look at those as if that's a successful formula, but those are all of your projects. And it's very scary that you own so much supply in so many different projects, and you tend to, like, destroy most of it on day 1 to day 3, and then start rebuilding the floor and pretending you're holding big bags still. And it's all bullshit. They try a lot of different methods to get these coins to pump on each chain. So they recently started bringing people in, you know, artists. They say, oh, well, this is the original artist, and, you know, we're confirming it here, so he should get the flowers, and we have the coin with him, so ours is the legit one. Fuck the old one that's been proven, that's been building and has an actual solid community. They create stories about people. So on the laptop project, this guy says he's working with the government and all this. They bring in guys like Da Vinci and these big names to be able to do whatever they want, because people still trust them and trust the contacts that they bring forth. So that's some of their new methods. Also, what these frontmen have done is they bring you chain to chain with them, and they bash the chain they were just on. So there used to be Ethereum and NFT maxis, and now they talk shit about Ethereum, and they're like, we love Solana. Solana's the best. Solana's going to $1,000. Solana's going to be the new chain. And once they've set up their infrastructure on Solana and rugged people of a bunch of money here, they're like, we need to keep them optimistic, keep them, switch things up on them, just like every new Call of Duty that comes out. I mean, the old one's fine, but let's make a new one just to, stop people from being bored. So they'll make you go from chain to chain. They'll hate on the previous one, so now they started to hate on Solana and talk about why Base is so good. And they talk about Base only, and everything needs to launch on Base, and all the people are coming to Base. And then once they're done setting up their infrastructure there, they're going to bring you to AVAX. And then they're going to say AVAX is better than Base because of this. I hate Base. Base sucks. And you have to realize how hypocritical that is, how easily bought these people are, how non-loyal these people are. And it's all part of their game plan to move you from chain to chain, to keep the money flowing, to keep the Ponzi going, and so they can continue to set up what they're trying to build up here. They all have the same mentality. They all try to, impose the same lessons on people. They say the whole space is PvP. They say you have to lose first and figure it out before you win. They run all the spaces for all these projects, and they just sell this shit to people all day long. They try to say how good their communities are while they're in these spaces. They say a bull run's coming. They say all this money's coming in. They're all anti-government, and we'll get to that part in a bit on why they're anti-government. It makes complete sense to me. I'm not saying I'm super pro-government. It has its pros and cons, but I think it's a lot better than what these people are trying to set up. So community is like a catchphrase to these guys, though. They'll say how great it is, but they're not there to experience it. And they're saying our community is amazing 3 days in. I mean, every project that has big green candles and a bunch of hype has communities going wild because they're up a lot of profits, or they think this thing's going to be the next Shiba or the next Pepe because it's got so much momentum, and they're hyped. You can't be, saying stuff like that. And in truth, a lot of the communities are actually shit because most of the people who control the success of that coin are big insider whales in what they choose to do with it. So you go into big ass projects like Pepe and Myro and Whiff and whatever, and yeah, the community's there. There's some people that have stepped up, whatever, but compare it to like projects that were only at 10-15 mil back in the day, and those communities were a lot stronger. They're contributing a lot more. These big ass projects now is all run by VCs, people who run the chains, and a lot of people from the scam ring. So the communities actually aren't very good on a lot of these big coins. What else do they do? Let me see here. So on each chain, they're help onboarding everyone to the CEXs, all the projects. So they have guys that are, specific guys that teams will hire to bring them onto all the CEXs. We'll get into why that's a problem going forward. They're trying to get into incubation now. They're trying to take control of all the trending now. They show you their wallets. They show you their trades. They act like they're diamond hands on big plays because every now and then they, get one of them to hold a few wallets on a play and make them look like they're diamond hands. But that's the easiest marketing tool in the book. Makes them look more credible. Makes them look like they're trustworthy. And they're selling on you the entire time on all their other wallets. The spaces, if they ever do run them for the specific coins or, just their own personal spaces, they're all echo chambers. They only want people there that are yes men, that hype them up, that make them look good. They kick anyone off who argues with them or exposes anything they've done. So, that's another sign. And they love to bot their engagements. They love to make new accounts and help other accounts grow and become part of their network. So they're trying to expand all over TikTok. They're trying to expand all over the different social platforms. Okay, so that's the frontmen and kind of what they do. They're in spaces all the time, overhyping the fuck out of them, promising it's going to this, promising it's going to that. Oh my god, we have Eric Stevens, Poe, Doggen, and someone else here, guys. This thing is definitely going to moon. No allocation was given. They're just here for the community, guys. And, it's just the same bullshit pitch every single time. And they're just trying to make big projects, make themselves look credible, and farm the fuck out of people while they do it. So now let's get into how this all works. Why do they have these frontmen? What's the whole game plan here? And this is what I believe is the game plan. I've outlined it before with focusing on the base chain. And a lot of these have started to get proven true. A lot of people started to talk about Bobo now. Andy on ETH, Andy on Sol. Those are always sketchy. Lots of the stuff I called out here, I said they're starting to use big names like Tate, Ansem, and you've seen Tate get a lot louder, Ansem get behind Hobbs and all this other bullshit. They started bringing back Roaring Kitty. So a lot of this still remains true. This got a lot of interaction before. I kind of know what I'm doing here to some extent. Maybe you guys don't agree with any of it. Maybe you agree with some. I don't really care. This is just what I'm telling you I think happens. And I think a lot of people, once they hear this, they'll see it too. And normally what they try to do as well is they say, oh, well, we already know that, but like, what does it matter? It's like, yeah. If you knew all about Brett, how come after certain people released certain information, Brett got destroyed? Whoever it was, I mean, that clearly was not well-known information, or the project wouldn't have reacted like that. So here's their plan. And I'm not saying it's the frontmen, I'm saying the frontmen's bosses, the people who have hired the frontmen, the people who have helped set this whole thing up. Whether you want to say it's the CEXs, whether you want to say it's the people who own the chain. You can get very deep with who they actually are, but I don't even want to, scare you with that stuff right now, because it's big. Anyways, here's their plan. So they want to get control of the top 5 to 10 coins on each chain and some of the derivatives. And that's why, they're telling you, oh yeah, like the first mooner on each chain always goes crazy, and follow us from chain to chain, and we'll show you the top 10 coins there. Meanwhile, they'll be owning it. They'll be owning a large portion of supply. And that's all part of their plan. They'll start launching their own coins. They'll steal the floor on other coins by attacking it, by shaming it, and then buying up the floor on it. They'll steal some of the narratives that are proven and working. A lot of narratives from the past. I'm not 100% against that. If you're taking a narrative that's been done before, it's lame. It's bullshit. It's definitely not as strong as you want to say it is. And these guys are always so obsessed with their narratives and their communities, even though it's all forced and it's all bullshit. But they steal working ones just by throwing their own out there, throwing a bunch of money in it, and trying to fuck with it. And they'll say, oh yeah, ours is the real one because we flipped them in market cap. But meanwhile, they stole it from those guys, and they just were able to flip it with their money only, and try to force a community out of it. So they'll use the top coins like Pepe and WIF to help strengthen the coins that they launch. They'll get all the same holders from WIF to start, interacting with this other coin. Same with Pepe, they've done that a million times. And they'll get them listed on all the CEXs that they work with. So we're seeing GotBit, BuyBet, BitGet. They're really trying to push all these CEXs and all these projects to them, and they have their reasoning for that. They use the supply control that they tell you is needed and the CEXs so they can manipulate the price through psychology. They've been studying traders. They have a bunch of AI constantly monitoring us, constantly monitoring our trade patterns. That's why these market makers, these arbitrage bots, these flash bots, that's why they've been able to dominate people so badly, just to change us into the next Wall Street here, where AI will win, the centralized people who have set all this up will win, but it'll be very hard for the average man out there. And basically what they do with these top chains is they use them like forex trading. They're trading Pepe, they're making shorts, making longs on all these different coins that they own and manipulate, and they're able to predict if the coins are going to go up or down because they're the ones that control the marketing. They're the ones that control the Twitters. That's why you see all this random stuff like a Twitter getting hacked, or they can throw out the war card and everyone will start talking about war all over Twitter and the price of everything will start to snap. And they're able to make all these moves. They've studied what works, what doesn't in terms of pumping prices and dumping prices. And they're able to fool the general public the entire time using the best market makers in the world, the best bots in the world, to just rinse people on every single project. And when they have the supply control, like 60% of the project in the hands of CEXs and influencers, they can do whatever the fuck they want on those projects, and they can do it a lot more anonymously, not show you how much profits they're making, and meanwhile they're just trading these coins like Forex and just completely dominating the average person. Most people are looking at Deck Screener, and these guys are just fucking you on the sexes. So the sexes also allow the front men to finally start selling anonymously and get their worth and hide it all from everybody. So the sexes win, the front men win, everybody's happy, everybody gets fucked. So they try to make their own sexes after that. Like I said, GotBit, BuyBet, BitGet, OKX isn't a sex, but I mean they're working with them now too. And once they own these sexes and they say theirs is popular and theirs is good, they'll start trying to help other coins get listed there. And then they'll be able to get supply on all these other coins because they always ask for supply. They always ask for payment. And now they're going to be making a ton of money through the sexes, just through the basic flat fees that they charge you, but also because they're going to be manipulating your coin the whole time. So, once they have their sexes and their frontmen, they're all working together. They, they'll tell people what worked. Why did Myro work, guys? Why did Whiff work? And the answer will be because of certain sexes. Once we got listed there as a big catalyst, because of Hello Moon. So Hello Moon is something that they set up to be an incubator, and it didn't go as well as they thought that it would. So, once you have all these projects asking, why is this successful? Why is that successful? And they tell you it's sexes, and they tell you it's Hello Moon, they'll get all these projects to use whatever marketing they want them to use. So all those people will be directed to Hello Moon. Hello Moon will get seen as this big incubation company that's successful, that good projects go to, and they'll be able to start farming a bunch of money from these projects that way. Also start farming a bunch of supply. So that's the game plan. That's what they try to set up on each each chain, just related to the coins on there, and the reasoning for doing it, kind of how they do it, and what they plan to use it for. So that's just the coin part. And it's very dangerous if you think about it, if you have a bunch of the same people owning all the top coins on each chain, using CEXs to trade those coins all day long, and their intentions, and if they start getting figured out, or they start needing money to pay for lawsuits and whatnot, I mean, they're going to be selling all these, they're going to be turning on each other. It's going to get ugly. So it goes much deeper though. I mean, that's what they try to do on each chain. And now they try to get the top sniper on each chain. They try to get BonkBot. So they use Bonk and, created a sniper there. They're going to be doing one on base. You can bet your bottom dollar. There's already a lot of snipers that can trade base, but they'll try to get the most dominant one. And then they can, have an exploit on that anytime they want. And, base sniper got exploited, guys. It started selling a bunch of Brett. Oh, this was all in our game plan. Thank you. We set out our shorts on Brett. Appreciate it. And stuff like that. Launchpads, they try to get a launchpad set up on every chain. I'm not 100% sure, but they're probably behind Pump.Fun, and they probably have the solution coming after they farm people a bunch. I think Print Protocol they'll use for their next one. They've already told me that's what they plan to do. I'm just going to see who out there tries to set it up and how hard they push it, and I'll know, okay, it's them, they're behind Print Protocol. But the reason they get the launchpad on every chain is so they can control any launch that launches off it now. So they see a good team coming, they see a good narrative coming, they know it's going to be good. They can get supply on every single one of those that they want. They can get their launch pads to get exploited, and a bunch of liquidity gets drained from projects. They can do whatever they want with those launch pads once they control them. And they tried to do it on base chain with Toshi, and they tried to do it with Solana with Gummy. I mean, that's not for all of Solana, but I mean, the system they set up is just terrible. Oh, stake this coin to buy the next 3 coins that are going to have pre-sales for. So all of our community from Crypto Banner will be divided between different projects. And once some of the, the new ones start sucking, people will lose faith in all the projects, and they'll all go down together. It's just a beautiful system, guys. But yes, they tried these launchpad things on Toshi. They tried it on Phantom, but I put an end to that pretty quickly. I called out Speedy for being a scam. I talked about Phantom Goat. I really hope the Phantom founders have taken that guy off their team, because he's definitely no good. So yes, now they own a bunch of the top coins, some of the best snipers on the chain, and some of the launchpads on the chain. So, I mean, now we're getting complete control of the chains here. And now what they bring is the airdrops. So we saw it with Jupiter. We saw how Base Chain keeps talking about their big airdrop they're going to do. Well, we saw it on that Gummy project. We're seeing it with Brett as well. And the problem with the airdrops and owning all the airdrops and all the protocols related to that is there's a ton of phishing going on. So for a while there, until people like me pointed it out, Brett's post used to have a quick phishing link from a fake Brett account, and it looked very similar. And if you click on it, it makes you think, oh, this is the real one. You connect your wallet, and you get drained. And Brett has no association. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Even though that's where we first started seeing it, and we first started seeing it with Crash. And related to base coins, it's just gotten, completely worse since then. And most of it exists because they're making airdrops popular again and connecting your wallet to a bunch of different stuff popular again. And just so you know, I mean, I know who set up these phishing sites, guys. I've been through all the Coinbase people. I've been through all their histories. I have all their wallets. I have people with 10 mil. So I'm way more onto you guys than you think. And I'm coming for every single one of you. And you have nowhere to fucking hide anymore. I mean, you guys are done. You guys are so fucking done. These phishing sites are disgusting. The airdrops are disgusting. And the other way they can use airdrops is they can farm it, farm people for attention. So you have these people grinding and grinding to make this free money. This one's going to be such a big airdrop, and then there's always last second stipulations. There's always something goes wrong. There's always, oh, I mined this airdrop for fucking 24 hours straight, and I only got $13, and this other guy, this wallet's gotten 2%, and he did nothing. So they're able to make you create a lot of hype, work for them for free, and they're the ones that get all the tokens. If it's a project they really want, they'll be able to take like 18% of the 20, and people won't even realize how or why. Another way they use the airdrops is, or another problem with them is, the people who are making them are scammers. I mean, this Crypto Dan 19 guy made a lot of the ones for base. He's a scammer. The phishing sites, I mean, I don't know the people who have made all of those, and they go hand in hand, and it's all bad news. So now they have the airdrops, the launchpads, the snipers, and top 10 coins on the on each chain. So I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger. But then they also want to control the swaps and how you go from chain to chain. So I mean, it looks like they're in on chain swap. I don't want to FUD that project specifically until I've done all my due diligence, but that could be a problem. But on top of all that, they want to own the trending bots for each chain. They've already said they want to own the trending bots on Solana. They've been trying to do it with this thing called meme trending, and we'll get into that on another video. But they also try to make SocialFi platforms attached to the trending now. They want you to go onto their meme trending thing for all of your needs on crypto. Like, don't even look other places. And that's the way they can echo chamber people to only use their stuff. So that's what Soul Chat was all about. That's what FriendTech's all about. And you start paying for the keys, and you feel more included, and you feel like you're in the private clubs. But trust me, for these guys to keep printing the amount of money they are, they need a bunch of you to keep losing. So it doesn't matter which FriendTech group you join, or Solana chat you join, or anything else. Their reasoning for doing that is to get you away from Twitter, finding real influencers, real KOLs, real good devs that actually have good intentions, and focusing all of your attention on them and their projects and their marketers, so they can completely centralize the space and rinse you way harder than you could ever imagine. So that's why it's concerning to me, is how they're trying to centralize everything to be about themselves. And if you look at their past and you look at how they're moving, these are not the people you want controlling things. And the last thing they do after they've set up this entire system on a chain is they go chain to chain. I've already touched on it. They want to go to AVAX, Phantom, and Ton, it seems like. I was talking about how they're going to do it on base. That's why I started trying to warn people. I always knew Solana seemed a little dirty. I didn't know just how dirty. I thought I was maybe too late to stop it or have people believe me, so that's why I focused on base for a while. And I've been able to kill base pretty quickly by exposing a lot of their plans. A lot of their people started deleting accounts, started having drama going off. So they've slowed down on that. Now they're trying other things out. But the reason this is important and why it's concerning is, once they have their system set up on all these different chains, what can they do with that, I wonder? Okay, I mean, AVAX, they can have a big exploit on a Launchpad on AVAX, and they own the coins there, so they can start selling those coins off and creating a bunch of FUD on AVAX and crashing it. And once again, they have a bunch of shorts set out on all those projects on the AVAX chain itself, and they can pretty much nuke it for a bit and bring it down 40%. Say something went on with AVAX, where are people going to go? They're going to go to Solana. We're going to drive them to Solana now. And once again, they own everything there, so they're set up for it. They have their long set up. They know they're going to start pushing that chain now, and they can just keep bringing people from chain to chain. It'll slowly get worse each time they move to a new chain, and they're fucking printing all this money because this big group of people are all on the inside. So the last thing they're trying to do right now is control the narratives, figure out what's working. That's why you saw Book of Memes come out. They get Binance involved, and then they get Slurf involved, and it's all bullshit. That allowed them to farm a ton of money. That allowed them to make a ton of different moves and launch stuff like Pump.Fun, and it's all been bullshit. That's why you're seeing the kitty narrative. The Roaring Kitty, the GME, all that stuff had been done a couple times this year, and it never really got the attention it deserved. So they kind of saved that card in their back pocket. We can bring up the Roaring Kitty thing whenever. We can try the cat meta. They tried to force the cat meta with Mew. Once again, that's what they do. They make one huge project, make people think, oh my god, it's crazy. They did it with Pepe as well. They did it with Whiff as well. Once they have that big project secured, That's what they try to do. They try to, force a new season. So they tried cats several times. They tried cats earlier with Mew and Hobbs, and then they kind of killed it. Ansem kind of killed it. He lost a lot of credibility. The cat meta kind of lost a lot of credibility. And, then they kind of put it in reserve. And now they're trying to force it out again. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to figure out what works, how to make narratives stick. And yeah, they also have a political one coming, of course, as well. A lot of them are already out there, and they'll use talk shows. They'll onboard big political people and try to push that narrative out. So that's another thing that they can do, and they can use to their advantage. Okay, I'm sorry this has been a lot, guys. Now we're just going to quickly touch on the governments and why they always hate on them and stuff. They try to make the government seem like the enemy. They try to make you think that all these regulations and centralization will fuck us up. And, if I had it my way, yeah, the government wouldn't be involved in this. That'd be great. And I'm not saying I do want them involved, but, the reason that they don't want governments in so badly is because if the government has half a brain and they've paid attention to what I've sent them and what I've put out there and what other people's will put out there and other people will send them. I mean, I was basically one man. I used a team for a little bit of it, but I was able to figure out this whole thing without even searching for it. I've never even wanted to go down this fucking rabbit hole. It's just new information will pop up on a space I'm in or something else, and I'll figure out more and more of it. So, I mean, the government, if they come in and they see what I see, they will be going after a lot of people. A lot of big names, a lot of big KOLs, a lot of projects, owners of chains, whatever. So that's why they're trying so hard to make you think the government's evil and the government's going to make things centralized when really they're trying to centralize it a lot more than the government ever could. So it's that's kind of why they are spreading that message, trying to unite people and whatever, when really, these guys are fucking you harder than the government probably ever will. And I'm sure the government will be interested in doing it because there's going to be a lot of money incentive in it as well. I mean, bringing down all these fucking scammers. And I hope they make people whole. And I hope they do the right thing and they jail the right people. And we'll just have to see what happens. So I've dropped the names for you up top. I kind of ranked them, not in terms of how big they are, but more just their involvement in a lot of these projects I'm going to bring up. And some of the most important frontmen by ranking, I guess, of their involvement, not really their size, but someone like Eric Cryptoman, he's ranked pretty low on the list because he hasn't touched nearly as many projects as these other guys have. So to me, it seems like he's just being influenced by them on quite a few because they've had some successful ones and they can pay him off sometimes, but he might not be as guilty or involved as some of the people near the top. And that's kind of how the ranking went. So the next video is going to show you a list of the projects with links and spaces, like moments from spaces, where it'll strengthen everything I just told you. It'll strengthen how Ansem, released a bunch of inside information to a select group of people and how they use that. How the admins from Pepe worked with teams. Just strengthening a lot of what I've told you here today is what the next video is going to be about. So I have lots of different spaces where they've talked about how they work with Pepe team, how Pepe admins are helping us, and it's all the same people on all the same, spaces spewing all the same bullshit. So that's what the next video is going to be about. I'm going to be dropping probably 200 project names in there. This list of KOLs and the list of projects I'm about to drop you guys, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It goes so much deeper than that. I'm just going to, roll it out bit by bit. And like I said earlier, focus on what I need to work on. Focus on the holes people see. And what's the problem with all this? So what's the problem in all these frontmen running the space and all these elites running the space and owning all the protocols and owning everything? And well, you have to really trust them, because if anyone in that chain has bad intentions, or a few people, it can get real messy real quick. They're all using this to get insanely rich. And if you ever listen to these people, for them to make money, other people have to lose. So who do you think those other people are? These guys are getting used to the lifestyle of Dubai and partying and rich and all being whales. And that's just the frontmen. Imagine the elitists who are controlling the frontmen and controlling a lot of what's going on here. I mean, just imagine how those people try to live with their lifestyle and how fucked up they are. So those are the people we're putting all of our trust in. And like I said, they're all getting super rich. They're going to get even richer and richer. And for that to happen, a bunch of people are going to have to lose. So we're going to be the ones losing. We're going to be the ones getting played here. Doesn't matter if you follow them. Doesn't matter how many of their paid groups you join, you will get fucked. They all lie, they all use misdirection, they want complete centralization and them to be controlling it, and it just makes it harder for everybody going forward. So that's the problem I see here with, if everything I just said is true, or even most of it's true, I mean, that's a big problem, guys. The same people controlling all these protocols on all these different chains with the ability to manipulate people really fucking badly. So I'll touch on the giveaway quickly like I said I would. So if you watch this video to the end and you watch the next video to the end, you will have the information to win the giveaway, and then you'll have to show up at one of my spaces. It'll be announced. It's a giveaway space. If you can answer the questions from this video and the next one, and you get called up to stage, then you'll win. And I pick people randomly. I use a random number generator for people who have watched the videos. And if you have, I call you up. Then I'll ask you a question related to the videos. If you win, you get $500. We gave out like 16,000 in the last 4 spaces, I think. So should be a fun time, well worth your time. Try to get the word out there about this. And then lastly, scammers, I've backed up all this data. I have all your spaces recorded. I have proof of your involvement in all these projects. So if they try to go back and delete it, I mean, just know they're going to look guilty. And I have this recording now too. So have that in your mind. If they go back and delete some of these spaces they were in, or some of the projects they were in, and I have a recording showing that it existed before, just realize how guilty that makes them look. And let's see if they delete some of them. So that's about it. I'll leave you guys with that. Sorry for taking so long. I tried to summarize it and write it down quicker. I don't know if I did a great job of it, but there is a lot to tell, a lot to explain to you. You can always check out this tweet for a little more context, just basically on the whole grand scheme of things. I think the way I wrote it here was quite well. People got to really agree with a lot of it. So that's kind of what I've done here today, but I've brought it back to Solana and just kind of showed you how it all works and what they plan to do with it. And yeah, I hope you liked the video. Check out my educational playlist for some more positive notes. Something simple like the Telegram video will be a lot more important than you realize. The security video, how the space works, all that type of stuff. So yeah, try to help me grow up the socials, get the voice louder, and let's take these fuckers down.